There are 3 things that healthy couples do regularly. And recently, my husband and I made a short reel on Instagram where we talked about those 3 things. We just highlighted them, and it had a lot of interest, so I thought I would make this longer video to kind of unpack those. And the third one is one that a lot of people probably don't even know what it means, so stay tuned to the end. So the first one is that healthy couples repair quickly. Okay, hear what this is not saying. It's not saying that healthy couples don't argue. Healthy couples don't have conflict. Healthy couples don't have to work through difficult things. They do. But healthy couples can repair that conflict quickly. And again, hear what it's not saying. It's saying repair, not sweep under the rug, not ignore, not store it up to bring it back up for a later fight, but it actually means repair. So in that, it's kind of built in that healthy couples, not only do they repair quickly, but they know how to repair. My husband and I have been married for almost 31 years, and for probably 25 of those, we did not repair quickly. We just didn't know how. We both wanted to get out of this continual conflict cycle. We knew that it was the same thing over and over, no matter what the topic was, but we did not have the resources, both individually or together as a couple, to repair that conflict quickly. Thankfully, we do, and wow, what a difference. But before we did, what that looked like is that we would argue. It would usually be me coming to him with an issue, and I would work it over in my head how the conversation was going to go and how I was going to convince him how wrong he was, of course. And then we would have the conversation, he would have this epiphany, and then life would be so much better moving forward. As you can imagine, it didn't go that way. The conversation never went that way. It ended up escalating, and then we would disengage, and we would probably be just like roommates for a couple days. We'd kind of pass each other in the hallway, only interact where we had to around parenting issues, but other than that, we were just so disconnected. Finally, we would both just apologize to each other, and then we would just go on as if it never happened. Thankfully, we've learned how to change that cycle, and now we do repair quickly. I would say we are now a very healthy couple, but for a long time, our conflict cycle wasn't very healthy, even though we'd been married a long time. So you can hear that healthy couples aren't just married a long time. Some people stay together in really unhealthy cycles just because they don't know how to get out of it. We didn't either. All right, so that's number 1, healthy couples repair quickly. Number 2 is that healthy couples speak to each other with respect. And then listen to this caveat, even in conflict. So healthy couples speak to each other with respect even in conflict. Okay, so on the day-to-day basis, they're talking to each other as someone who has worth, right? That because they are created in the image of God, their partner has value. And in conflict, that value doesn't just disappear, and now we can start calling each other terrible names and speaking to each other in disrespectful tones. No, we are people of inherent value because we are created in the image of God, whether we are showing up as our best selves or not. So even when our partner is acting out and maybe they're not being respectful, we can still treat them with respect because we understand that they're probably acting out from a place of hurt. Now that doesn't excuse their behavior or our own, right? But it gives us a mark to move towards, to understand that we can at least, if you're the one hearing this video, you can at least bring respect into that relationship, into your relationship, whether it's the day-to-day stuff or the conflict, and that can actually begin to change the patterns in your relationship. So that number 2 is that healthy couples speak to each other with respect, even in conflict. So difficult, but wow, so powerful. And actually, when you begin to speak to your partner with respect, even in conflict and even if they're not, you begin to take the power in the relationship. Not in a way to dominate, but you become less of a victim and you become empowered to change your relationship, even when it feels out of control. Okay, and then that third one, this is the one I was saying, a lot of people probably don't even know what this means. The third one is that healthy couples turn toward each other. Okay, so what does that mean? What it means is that on the day-to-day basis, in the very little things, healthy couples are tuned in. So healthy partners are tuned into their partner. They're tuned into one another. and they respond when the other person makes these tiny bids for connection. So what that little bid could be like, I'm a runner. My husband does not care at all for running, but my husband cares about me. So when I come in for running, and if I'm like, oh my goodness, what a great run, he's not just gonna, okay, mumble or ignore me, but he's gonna go, really, what was so great about it? Or how many miles did you run? So if I make that bid for connection, he's gonna turn toward it and engage around it. It's gonna be little, it's gonna seem insignificant, but actually when you think about in your relationship, you have these little bids for connection that are met with responsiveness. Over time, it creates a really strong fabric for your relationship that can help support you when you are in conflict. Another bid for connection could be, so again, I'll use my example. I love nature, so I'm constantly like, oh, look at the moon, whoa, look at that sunset, oh, do you see the leaves on the trees? Look at those birds. My poor husband has to work hard because I make a lot of bids for connection. But instead of ignoring me or just giving a little grunt back, but if he just even says, oh yeah, that's so nice, or oh, that's so pretty, he doesn't even have to ask a question, but just to respond to that bid, it makes our relationship so much stronger. In a similar way, he has a lot of things that he's interested in that I really don't care for. They're not things that interest me, but he interests me, and because of that, when he makes a bid for connection, I want to try to engage with that. If he wants to show me a funny video or wants to read me something or just wants to point out something that he did, I'm going to respond to that bid for connection. So that's it. Those are the 3 healthy things. And then here's one more really important tip, the most important thing. If you listened to this video and you thought, my spouse needs to hear this because they need to work on these things, you might have missed the point. You can impact your relationship just by initiating these changes yourself. So I encourage you, instead of saying, here, you need to listen to this, go back, listen to it again and ask yourself, how can I apply this to my relationship? If you enjoyed this, I encourage you to check the link to this video, and I have information on a workshop that I'm doing coming up at the end of March 2026. If you're watching this before the end of March 2026, you can click the link and you can join our workshop. My husband will be helping me. Actually, we're calling it a mini retreat, and it'll just take some skills like this. We'll build on it and create a really connecting time for you and your spouse. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.